Interstate 65. I-65 is an often lovely road that goes through the interior of the United States. It travels from near Chicago and down to Mobile, Alabama, and changes time zones twice. So it's probably the only north-south interstate to do that, although I'm not sure. You're watching Control City Freak. This is the YouTube channel where we talk about interstate highways and the places that they are assigned to go to. If you like this kind of content, please give us a like, or if you really like it, why not subscribe? Appreciate all the views we've been getting lately and all the new subscribers and old subscribers. You all rock. Today we're going to talk about southbound I-65. And you know what? We're starting here. Yeah, I-65 isn't here. This is the Museum of Science and Industry on the south side of Chicago. Happens to be why I'm here. And today is my birthday, so I may as well bring that up right now. My parents met working part-time jobs at this museum in high school, so that's how I came to be to begin with. Why am I starting with the Museum of Science and Industry? Well, just a couple blocks south of here on Cornell Avenue, we get one of the great road signs in the world. This old beast. I love this sign. It's been there since who knows how long. It's been there a long, long time. And I will show it as often as I can. I love this thing. I think it's put in by the Chicago Parks Department. But we do see the I-65 shield right here in Chicago. Going further south, this is I-90 on the Chicago Skyway, and we also see the 280, 265, 294. So again, another 65 sign within the city limits of Chicago. There was some debate in the comments as to whether 65 North should be signed for Chicago. I think this definitely says yes. Yes, it should be. On I-90, the Indiana Toll Road, we meet the beginning of I-65, and it's a humdinger of an interchange. So going east on 90, you can see the start of I-65, but 90 doesn't quite pass over it. But that's I-65 and its stoplight right down there. Here is the actual ramp from I-90. We see we're assigned for 65 Indianapolis and 1220 Dunes Highway. Here's a look at this interchange. Obviously, this thing has been here for a while, and you can see the loops flying over, and at 65 actually kind of ends at 1220 up on top there, and 90 and 65 are parallel to each other but never actually touch. Here is the stoplight that I-65 begins and ends at Dunes Highway, so we see 65 South Indianapolis here. After turning right, this is what you get. Boom, you're on I-65. The median there is certainly not interstate standard, nor is the speed limit. But we do see that I-65 shield right there, along with mile marker 262. And here we are early on southbound I-65. This is the ramp from I-90, the Indiana Toll Road, merging with I-65. So if you like to think of that as the start of 65, here's where they come together. Shortly after meeting I-90, we will meet with 80 and 94, signed for Chicago, Toledo, and Detroit. All right, so I used to take I-65 a lot as a kid. My grandparents used to drive us down, my brother and I, to Indiana Beach for a week each summer, and it was awesome. Passing these buildings, whether we were taking US 30 or if we were taking I-65, was always, kind of a we're really on our way feeling. I remember passing by these buildings here in Merrillville on the way there. Sadly, though, that first one was Google Street View from maybe 2017. Here it is in 2018, being wrecked, and here it is today, all gone. See an early mileage sign, Lafayette 81 and Indianapolis 140. I mentioned in the northbound video I wanted to talk about Indiana Beach a little bit. Well, the real heads know this is where you get off for Indiana Beach, although the billboards for Indiana Beach were at the US 24 exit. Sadly, I couldn't find any on Street View this time around, so I don't have any to show. Another way my grandparents used to take to get to Indiana Beach was this Indiana Highway 16, which does not connect with I-65 and is in fact the boringest road in the world. Here's a look at Indiana 16 just to prove my point. No access 65. They're just telling you, this is going to be a boring road. We don't even have an interchange. Lake Schaefer, Lake Freeman, that's where Indiana Beach is. And so that is, again, the second exit if you were going to Monticello by way of US 24. And I'll move on from memory lane and get back to normal Control City stuff. So here is the interchange for 865, and we see 65 south to 465 south, 865 east to 465 east. So if you want to go follow 465, you've got to use this 865 or go straight. Here's our intersection for southbound 465 to Indianapolis International Airport and 65 south to downtown. We meet I-70, and weirdly, I-70 is signed East Dayton. Northbound on I-65, 70 was signed for Columbus, and I believe the street view was taken from the same year. So they're either in the process of switching it to Dayton, as they've been doing for a while, or in the process of switching it back to Columbus. I've heard both ways. It's been a few years since I've been in Indy myself, so I don't actually know for sure. Here's a look at downtown Indianapolis. And now we split with I-70. I-70 signed for St. Louis and to the airport, 65 for Louisville now. When we meet 465 and 74, there's no control cities, which I think is fine for 465, but I almost feel like there should be some for I-74, it being a two-digit interstate, although it does kind of hitch a ride on what everyone would call 465. Continuing south now, we get Columbus 22, Louisville 92. And we are in the Louisville suburbs. We're approaching Jeffersonville, and we have the exit for 265, which is going to 262 I-64, Indiana's favorite, New Albany. 65 south apparently is a toll bridge as well. I thought only the northbound bridge was toll, because I think the southbound bridge is actually the old bridge. Again, seems a little shady to charge a toll on an interstate highway bridge that wasn't always a toll bridge. Here is our toll system, no booths, just open road tolling. And we're heading into Louisville. We're now on 65 South Nashville, and we're getting East 64 North 71 for Lexington and Cincinnati, West 64 for St. Louis. We cross into Kentucky on the bridge, so we get our Welcome to Kentucky sign. Lots of signage on this bridge, lots of overhead signs, kind of cool. So now we got 65 South Nashville, and we're seeing that big exit for 64 and 71 coming up as well. And here are the ramps for that large interchange right near downtown Louisville. And now we're on 65 South Nashville. We meet 264, and I guess this is the definition of insanity for me to be angry that they still have Watterson Expressway and not Control Cities, because we've seen this in the last 3 videos. Same deal, 265, no Control Cities, just freeway name. Nashville remains the primary control city, with Elizabethtown as the secondary here in Kentucky. Here's a road I missed on the northbound episode. We've got 165, which is actually a pretty substantial road. It goes all the way up to Owensboro. It's a pretty long one. And 65 South Nashville still. Tennessean is ten-a-believin'. And they got a welcome center right there. Thanks, Tennessee. Awesome that the first mileage shield should have Springfield on there, since I just did a Simpsons joke. And Nashville, of course, still the primary. Here we meet I-24, West Clarksville, and 24 and 65 are signed for Nashville. 24 and 65 split up, and somehow now neither of them are now signed for Nashville. I suppose they both go there on a different side of the Nashville inner loop. 65 signed for Huntsville, and 2 West 40 Memphis. Now we meet I-40 for West Memphis and East 40 Knoxville, South 65 Huntsville, right lanes. Here is, I suppose, a final look at downtown Nashville. This is our 5th episode in Nashville, so we've seen it quite a bit, but this will be the last time. Now 40 and 65 split. 40 is signed for 2 East 24, as they always do in Nashville. They always mention the third road. We meet 440 in the southern suburbs of Nashville, and 65 is signed south for Huntsville. This is kind of interesting. We get a mileage sign, and Huntsville's not on it. We go straight to Birmingham. However, at the 840 interchange, I-65 is still signed south for Huntsville, not Birmingham. Yet, further down the road, we get another Birmingham sign instead of Huntsville. I wonder if maybe these are older signs and they change the intersection ones first and we'll change these later, or if that's just how Tennessee DOT is rolling. We do see here at another random interchange, not an interstate interchange, that it is Nashville and Huntsville. This one's pretty interesting though. I believe this is US 31. It's at the very southern end of Tennessee, and they're saying Huntsville South 65. But from this junction, it's actually faster to go straight to get to Huntsville because there's a diagonal cutoff that gets you there a lot faster than taking I-65 all the way down to 565. Welcome back to Alabama. All right, here in Alabama, now we're getting Athens 9, Huntsville 22, and Birmingham is on the map. Interesting. And Huntsville 22, that is not downtown Huntsville. That is until the 565 exit to get to Huntsville. Here we meet 565, and we officially start on to South 65 Birmingham, with 565 leaving east for Huntsville, which is, I've been told and have seen, is now the largest city in Alabama. Birmingham is the second largest city. Still has a much larger metro, but who knows, that might change because Huntsville is really growing quickly. Here in the Birmingham area, we have our exit for 22 West Memphis, and we get 65 South Birmingham because we're still not quite downtown. Just like on the northbound side, I feel like they should also mention I-20 and I-59 here because they are just around the corner. And here we get our exit for I-20 and I-59 with 65 now South Montgomery, which is a sensible choice. On the outskirts of town, we meet 459 and 65 South Montgomery still. I skipped ahead to Montgomery. I figure I trust the signs in Alabama. They seem good on the northbound way, so I assume that they're the same. And now we get 65 South Mobile. Here's our look at some lovely countryside, and Mobile 140 is our control city, so no big surprise here. On the outskirts of Mobile here, we meet 165, which goes downtown. So 65 is no longer signed south for Mobile. It is signed just 65 South, no control city. Coming up the 165 interchange, 65 is signed south for Mobile. But I understand why they wouldn't do it the other way on the previous sign, because 165 is the way into downtown. 65, if you're coming off 165, I suppose is the way kind of back around. And now coming around Government Boulevard, we just get 65 South, no control city. I believe I would go with New Orleans here. Alabama would never do this, but New Orleans I think would be the best choice. And we get this lovely sign, 10 East Florida, 10 West Mississippi. So I-90 on both ends has roads that are signed for states rather than cities. I'm guessing it's probably the only major road that's the truth of. And here we get to the end of this road. We've got 10 East Florida, 10 West Mississippi. The sign that I showed you just a second ago with both of these destinations on one sign is still there according to Street View. It said 2022, but unfortunately, this sign no longer is. Ooh, I don't like that at all. I mean, we know 10 was signed for Pascagoula because 10 used to end there before they finished building it further out. So Alabama had signed that. Pascagoula is not even in Alabama, so it's not Alabama being provincial. So it's a very strange place for them to sign. And I don't know why they're double downing on it now. It seems like they made the temporary decision to do it in the 60s and yet still keep it going now. Anyway, that will wrap up our trip down I-65. So let's take a look at Todd's The Way It Should Be. The way it should be for 65 South is more or less the way it actually is. It is Indianapolis, check. Louisville, check. Nashville, check. Huntsville, yes. Birmingham, yes. Montgomery, Mobile, yes, yes. The only thing I would do is instead of signing nothing in southern Mobile, I would sign New Orleans. I think that would make it a little bit better, but I certainly would not sign Pascagoula. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Control City Freak. My name is Todd. Keep on trucking.